Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 342. We've got Mike Dieter back in the garage. First time since June?
Yeah.
June? Right before my wedding, you said.
Right before it.
So happy to have him back. He brought something very cool. You can kind of see it right in front of him on the table there if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. This is going to be something that's pretty special here. 601. This is the La Bamba Warhead 11. I just put it on there as the Warhead 11. But this is the annual release, obviously the 11th one. They've done some other redux, I think they're calling them.
Reduck?
You know what it says?
Redo? Redo?
Re-up.
Re-up.
The re-ups. So they did the 1 and the 6, and this is the 11. So we'll get into that in a little bit here. Nate also brought something very special. You can see it in front of him. May or may not be able to read it, but they got some special bottles we're going to go over as well. I do want to thank our sponsors, first and foremost, all of you guys. I do want to say, as always, help us out. Please share, like, comment, review, and subscribe on all the formats you enjoy listening to our show. And then tell your friends, family, anyone else about them. I want to direct a lot of people's attention here. We keep talking about it, but pushing towards YouTube Live and YouTube. Facebook, after about, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, takes down the videos. So this is something where if we want to keep pushing towards YouTube a little bit, I've got Facebook Live up on the chat right now. So we're watching that, but we're watching as many comments as we can. But make sure you share and like that. And we appreciate those that go above and beyond. Do the patreon.com/bourbonbs podcast. There are tiers on there. You can sign up. We still have quite a few Patreon members. Helps us stream this live. It helps us put it on all the audio formats as well. You can also do Venmo for one-time contributions at Bourbon and BS is the call sign or whatever you want to call it, handle. And also want to shout out to Tinder Box at Easton in Columbus, Ohio. They do carry the 601 La Bamba Warhead 11, also the 1. Also still have some Independence Day Warheads that we featured on the show with Tyler and Hector from Espinosa Cigars. Also have the Chef Special, a lot of the knuckle sandwiches, 601s, Espinosa line, Murciélagos, a lot of them. So check them out as well. And then also I want to thank Altadis USA. We've got the H. Upman Heritage Nicaragua from AJ Fernandez on deck for part 2 after we smoke the special one that Mike brought along with him. But check out Altadis USA. Appreciate the continued support. And obviously the BS Silver and Gold are available from BS Cigar Company. The silver is made by Espinosa as well. And the gold's made by Plasencia. So check them out. And then Nate and I have kind of matching shirts tonight. You can barely see his because there's 2 bottles in front of him. But buyjack.com/bourbon and BS for any of the shirts. This is the easy now. This is the 3/4 sleeves. Perfect for this time of the year. And there's also some podcast shirts on there with the slogan, pour one more, light up another. We'll figure this out together. So guys, check them out. Cheers to the ashtray. Nate's breaking shit. All right. Do you want to start with cigar? Or do you want to start with before you break those? You want to read the bottles? Let's go to the bottles here. We got Penelope Project X. I'm going to take a sip. I have not lit up the cigar yet. Okay. I'm going to take a sip first of this, and then I'll get to the cigar. Go for it. So, Nate, what do we have here with the Penelope Project X? It's very, very secretive almost.
Ooh. Yeah. So both these bottles were OHLQ exclusives earlier this year. They came out in June. There were 3 of them. You have one that was, so it starts out as the new Penelope Weeded. So 4-grain mash bill.
And that's what we're drinking right now, right?
Well, the base distillate is the Penelope Weeded. 4-grain mash bill, 75% corn, 15% wheat. And then the rest is your rye and malted barley. I think it's 7 and 3 on those. So they have one that is finished in a cognac cask.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that we are starting with right now is finished in an Oloroso sherry cask. And then the other one that I brought is finished in both Oloroso sherry and cognac cask. They all came in at 108 proof. So I thought it'd be kind of a good idea to do like a side-by-side and see how the two compare to each other. One that's just the Oloroso and then one that's that plus that cognac finish.
Okay. So did you say there were 3 bottles originally?
Yes.
And you have 2 of them here
There were
tonight.
3 releases. I have 2 of them.
Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yep.
And the one, I'm sorry, I'm sharing this too.
The one I
with
did not
Facebook.
get was the one that was just finished in the cognac
And
cask.
this is sherry.
This one is the one we're drinking right now is finished in the Oloroso sherry cask.
Okay. Got it.
So you had cognac, sherry, and then the third one was cognac and sherry.
And Oloroso means what for people?
That is a type of dry sherry
Mhm.
that comes from the Jerez region.
What was that?
Jerez.
And that means?
That's a region in Spain.
Got it.
So it's a dry sherry. Has a very rich amber color. See, most people when they think sherry, they think something that's real sweet
Mm-hmm.
because you usually find it like in the port section and stuff like that, or cooking sherry. But they do make dry sherries as well. So Oloroso is a dry sherry. It's fortified. It's aged just like regular sherries. It just doesn't have the layer of yeast that helps prevent oxidation in the barrel. So that's why you get this deep amber color, and then also a nuttier flavor. Anytime you have like a white wine that ages and oxidizes, it'll have this nutty characteristic to it.
Interesting. Did you know all that, Mike?
Nope.
Could you repeat everything he just said?
Nope.
I didn't think so. Nor could I.
After
Nate,
we-
Nate
after-
speaks a different language than I do.
Boy's wicked smart.
Well, I mean, I sell wine for a living.
You
so.
sound very passionate about it as you're speaking about it, though.
well.
Drinking?
Like you got pretty excited about it.
Well, yeah.
You're not.
I try and do that, with my day job too, because if you just sit there and mope around the store and no one's going to want to take your word for whatever you're recommending, and no one's going to want to buy from you. So no, it's something I do get excited about. So
And I just lit up the cigar.
yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. All right, let's talk about this Penelope. This is the
Yeah.
Oloroso Sherry. You said 108,
Mhm.
108 proof. Light on the nose, would you say?
You thought it was lighter than nose?
Light on the nose.
I thought it was pretty strong in the nose.
Strong how? I mean, like kind of like more
Spike.
floral,
Yeah, it gets
lighter
it's real-
notes.
Definitely hot.
What fruit do you have there, Nate? Let's talk nerds.
Fruit.
Well, you can't smell anyways.
Oh.
Cancel it. Everyone have a good
Smoke
night.
it right
I'll see you in a
up.
couple weeks.
All right. No, I mean, I definitely get a lot of ethanol on the nose, though.
Huh.
Well, I already got one projection go. I've already tested the cigar to bourbon, bourbon to cigar, and I already got my mine.
Mike's ready to do his ratings right now.
It's not overly sweet. It definitely has like a little bit of
Burn.
burn on the chest there. Kentucky hug for sure.
Kentucky hug. I like it.
I mean, it's, yeah.
That is an actual term we like to call the Ohio embrace.
But yeah, so this is it's got a little bit of a first kick to it for
Yeah.
the first pour of the evening
Yeah,
here.
your palate's getting used to it.
I'm just talking even in the chest here for me.
Mm.
But it does have, you said it's not overly sweet, but I mean, I do get a little bit of sweetness there. Trying to pick out like there's a little bit of fruitiness to it. Is that apple or grape or what are you getting?
I thought apple.
You think apple? Very pleasant.
So more in particularly, like when I have a puff of the cigar and then go to the bourbon, it's like the fruitiness just pours out.
Of
The
so
bourbon.
you say you take puff the cigar and go back to it?
Yeah.
All right.
That's my opinion so far.
And a note on this cigar, since we did light it up, I don't know if you can try to give a darker background against my shirt. Where I lit it up, hopefully you can see that a little bit. This has a very hard taper on the figurado here.
A nipple.
Definitely like a nipple.
It's a box press figurado.
It is. And the top, we all cut ours. You got a V.
I got a V.
cut on there. I did straight cut. Nate, you did straight.
Yep.
So it definitely had, it had more of a torpedo head. It's a box press, and I just wanted to kind of point out while my ash is still hanging on there. I think you guys are done, but you might be able to see
No, mine's hanging.
on mine.
Well, you
compared
actually-
to that.
Oh,
Mike,
I
you
see.
cut yours off.
You did?
Yeah, he cut the little tip off.
Oh my
No, I
god!
didn't.
Yeah, you did. I watched. Yeah, you did. The little tiny tip.
No, I didn't.
You lit it?
I lit it. I didn't cut it off.
Oh.
Yeah, just
not
the- Just
All
the tip.
right.
No, you don't, John.
But yeah, going back to the whiskey, Penelope. I like the bottles. They look cool. Very chic, as far as the wine bottles. And you got just the black. Is it black, right?
It is black. But
black
it's the,
bottle,
but
black
it's the same
labels.
shape. It's the same shape as all Penelope bottles.
No, I know, but I mean, they're usually clear.
Yes.
And these are going to be blacked out with a black label on it called Project X. They definitely went for a certain type of look with this Project X.
Makes me think the Matthew McConaughey, or not McConaughey, Matthew Broderick movie.
Project X.
Oh.
The monkey. Are there monkeys involved with the
Well,
project?
I guess you can call anyone who tastes
No.
bourbon for a living a lab monkey.
How did you this is pretty cool. And I'm not a bourbon connoisseur nearly as much as you two are, but this is actually really cool. I like it how it's like a wine bottle, but it's just a very like simplistic yet elegant label to it. It's kind of, how'd you come across this?
We got these at Carfagna's.
Got it.
So yeah, we got these.
Carfagna's is where he works.
Yep.
They have OHOQ, Ohio Liquor store inside of it.
Yeah,
so area.
So these were, since they were state picks, they went out the day we got our delivery in, and we have to wait for that initial rush of people to come through before we can buy any of the stuff. So couldn't sit there and set bottles aside or anything like that. So we had a couple people that had been waiting in line for them, but then after that, like they slowly trickled out through the rest of the day.
They're waiting for this release particularly.
Yep.
Were there any other releases that day?
These were the only state picks.
Okay.
The 3 bottles for the Penelope were the only special releases going out that day. So that's what some people throughout that week had been going out chasing. So yeah, Penelope's been doing a lot of kind of one-offs that people have been coming in and asking for.
A lot of their stuff is, right?
Yeah. I mean, so we carry their core stuff. You got the 4-grain white label, the red label, which is a 4-grain barrel strength. You got the toasted, which we did on the podcast once.
Not too well. Yeah, it was back in like March or something.
Yeah,
like
it was earlier this year.
Yeah.
You got the architect, which we've done.
We have.
The weeded is one as well. So those 5 we have on the shelf. But then they've done one that was called the Rosé, because that one was finished in a wine cask.
Mm-hmm.
They did the Havana, which was finished in a rum cask.
Okay.
So yeah, they've been doing quite a bit lately, and we always get people coming in asking for those harder to get ones, and we never get them. So when Carfagna's got these, we're actually kind of excited because it's like, oh, cool, unlimited Penelope that we're actually getting, because usually we don't get those. We just get the core stuff.
Right. Can I see the bottle we're sipping on right now?
Absolutely.
No, this is pretty cool. It's definitely Project X is about pushing boundaries, taking risk, and putting innovation above all else. Okay. That's all it really says. And then it's got some of the statistics on the front. And that's not a background. Those are just fingerprints. See how isn't that crazy? Humidity a little bit. Like a hypercolor almost. What do you think, Nate? I mean, this is you cracked that tonight, right?
Yep.
So what are your thoughts here?
I think it's very clean on the palate. There's not, sometimes with the higher proof stuff, it'll kind of just sit for a while. I think this one, that front and mid palate's very clean, kind of fleeting.
Mm.
The finish kind of hangs on a little bit. I think the longer you hold this in your mouth, the more that Oloroso cask comes out.
How so?
The nuttiness and that kind of dry dessert wine note to it, that starts to come out more.
Yeah.
Because the regular weeded, when that came out, there were a lot of people going around chasing that one because they were thinking a lot of people were thinking 3-grain mash bill, probably going to have a lot of wheat in it, but it's only a 15% wheat, so it's not as soft and sweet as say a Maker's Mark or a Green River weeded or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit more complexity to it because it is still a 4-grain mash bill. So this one, that wheat still isn't all that prominent of a note. But I think as you let this, hang around the palate, that finish is really what starts to stand out a little bit more.
I tested it right when you said let it sit for a little while, and I'm like, okay. So I took a puff, I took a sip, let it sit, and you're right. Like the longer you let it sit, the flavor profile just really starts to open up.
I get a little like it's sharper, like a sharpness when I let it sit. Almost.
Yes.
So
you
that's
said a dessert wine. I mean, it's a
well, but like I said, Oloroso sherry is a dry sherry.
that's it.
So you get that lush mouthfeel on Oloroso sherry where it just kind of coats the palate, but then it's dry. It's not. It doesn't have a high sugar
That's the
content.
sharpness that I'm talking
Yeah,
about. probably.
it doesn't.
That makes sense.
It's not sweet like a Pedro Jimenez sherry. It's a dry sherry, so it doesn't have as much sugar content. Therefore, it's not going to hang on the palate as long.
Yeah. Which I don't. I mean, not that. I mean, we have the other one to compare it to, which is finished in that, and what was the other?
Cognac.
Cognac. I wonder what that'll do.
So yeah,
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
it will be, because cognac for me has always been something that's very bright and sharp.
Yeah,
But
this already has that.
so usually
To
what
me,
so sometimes what'll make a cognac. So again, for those that don't know, cognac is a region in France. It's a grape-based brandy. So all cognac is. So I get people that come into the store and like, hey, do you guys carry any cognac? Because they don't see a sign that says cognac.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, it's in the brandy section because it's brandy. It's just made from cognac, or in the cognac region of France.
interesting.
Just
Okay.
like if we had a sign that said sparkling wine and someone goes, hey, do you have any champagne? Well, yeah, it's in the sparkling wine
Yeah.
section. It just comes from that region.
Yeah, you know where I learned that one?
What movie?
Wayne's World 2.
Rob Lowe?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's things you learn in movies. Very cultural. Like Wayne's World 2. Wayne's World 1, 2. Also, excuse me. All right, so let's sip on this a little bit here, and let's talk the project here. That obviously Project X. This is another project here. I'll take off the banner for those that are watching on there to show this very creative, limited edition container. It's not even a box, really. It's a container, and it's designed to kind of sit like that. Sharp on the bottom.
It is sharp on the bottom.
That can cause some problems. But yeah, so this is the again 601 La Bamba Warhead 11. Contrast. You're looking for this. So out of contrast, this is block mic here briefly. Don't hide behind it. But that is the original Warhead 1 re-up, as they call it. And what's the Vitola of that one is?
What do you mean?
The size of the one. It's not the figure
I want to say it's 6. Is it 6
Toro
and
box press or?
Yeah, it's like 6 by 56, I think.
Okay.
Toro.
Okay. So you see these, they have the same design behind my left shoulder like that. I'll be a terrible weatherman. You'll see that that was one of the, I think, original tin signs that they put out there, which is really cool. Mike also has, if you can see, the little baby 601 Warhead 1 that came. It's a lighter, a quad flame lighter, limited one that Eric Espinosa came out with, and it is identical to this. And they had this original one. They came with a gold and a black. So every year
there's a third iteration coming too.
There's a third one this year. So there are actually 4 total, like we talked about. The first that came out in the summertime was the Warhead Independence Day, which was a slightly different blend that Hector Alfonso did for Espinosa. And that one definitely stronger. This is definitely strong, but I know that Independence Day had a punch to it.
Yes, it did.
And we featured that with Hector and Tyler.
When I was looking at the flyers for the trade show, and when Tyler sent me those, I didn't realize that there was 4 different iterations of Warhead coming out. And I was like, what the hell is this stuff? Like, no, just give me the Warhead. So like when we had the Independence on the show, I was like, oh shit, it's a difference. God, and they're all gone. I'm like, motherfucker.
Well, and if you remember when we smoked that on the show with Hector and Tyler, that was
didn't even have the
That was a good.
Yeah,
that was a good cigar.
It was like the prototype band because it hadn't been released yet.
Yeah.
So we smoked it before it hit the shelves. These just hit the shelves this week. I believe we at Tinder Box at Easton, Columbus, Ohio, got them in on Monday. And this was something brand new hitting the shelves. I know around the Columbus area, they're hitting a lot of shelves. You found
I found mine in Indy on Thursday. Was it either Thursday or Friday?
Right. So very cool project. Every year they do a different box. Last year for the 10th, they had a cool It was a gold box, and it was a six something by
56, 656 oval box price.
Yeah, and it was a great iteration of it.
Yeah.
And that came, you could hang that box. It was kind of flat shaped
It
of
was
a bomb.
pre-drilled.
And yeah, you could hang that on the wall. This is something new. Can't hang it, but I mean, at least this is very,
I mean,
very
you
unique.
probably could hang it and like make it look like a bomb
Yeah.
that's dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That last year's took up a lot of shelf space.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of store that puts boxes on shelves and instead of bins, it took up a lot of shelf space.
It did. And so this comes in a 10 count. This is again a figurado with very sharp kind of at the foot of it, where it kind of rounds out a little bit and then gets real close, like Nate said, almost like a nipple. And you do light that up. The draw on this is extremely nice. It's gonna, when I lit it up, sometimes on a figurado, if you guys haven't smoked them very often or aren't familiar with them, sometimes when you light up the foot of it, it takes just a moment for airflow to get through, and almost you have to wait until it hits the bulb, if you will, where it opens up completely, and then you'll have. So I have had people, Nate thought that Mike had done it, where you kind of almost just cut that and just go straight to the point and get it going. But this one, I didn't have any problems. As soon as I lit the foot of it, I had a great draw. It opened up a little bit more when it did kind of hit the wider part of the ring gauge there.
There was one point I was actually taking a draw and could actually feel the shift.
Yeah.
So it started out a little tight, but I know how those figurados will do that. As soon as they hit that bulb, they open up, and I could actually just in one puff, one draw, I could actually feel it loosening up and that air flow increasing.
Man, that retrohale, when you push that through the nose, it's got some stank on it, man. It's got some oomph.
Stank?
Not stink.
It doesn't. Oh, even stank. That still doesn't sound any better.
It's got some pepper.
Yes, it does.
It is. It's going to make you sneeze, possibly.
He could use that.
Mm-hmm.
I was as tough as you, Sean. Sean will sneeze at some point smoking this cigar. Mark my words. All right.
I'm just gonna blame it on health, like pollen.
You can't now. You can't blame it on
It
pollen.
has to be the cigar.
It's a cigar.
Yep.
It's written. Nate, thoughts? Is this clearing you up at all?
I mean, I could definitely pick out that spice in the retro.
Yeah.
And it lingers. Like I can still get the little tingle in my left nostril of that spice coming through there.
Yeah.
It actually surprised me on the light up, because I know a lot of Espinosa cigars.
You okay?
Yeah. No, I took some decongestant, so like I'm like fucking.
Yeah, he's open.
I'm both nostrils, which for me is not common,
But there's a lot of Espinosa cigars that are front loaded, where as soon as you light it up, you get this big burst of flavor and spice on them. And I was kind of expecting that with this one, and I really didn't get that. But the retro, there's definitely quite a bit of spice on there. And then there's some on the finish of the cigar that kind of lingers around as well.
Yeah. It's definitely full. It's definitely got a lot going on. Black pepper, black coffee. What else are you getting, Mike?
Very woody.
It's very woody. And it's a perfect blend of the three. That's what I love about it.
That's a dark wood note too.
And we're talking broadleaf over Nicaraguan, right? That's all we really know on this blend, if I'm not mistaken.
If Hector's on here, feel free to elaborate.
I haven't seen Hector. I didn't let him know that we were doing it. I didn't talk to Tyler. We're doing this basically just ourselves. It's Labor Day weekend coming off of that. I didn't want to bother anyone. I even thought about texting Eric and seeing if he wanted to, but
you want to announce to see if he does?
Nah, I mean, yeah, I will when we talk about it a little bit more here.
Steve, I'm curious, since you still have a good amount of the first bottle in your glass.
I do.
I want you to hold your glass up to mine, because from here it looks like there's an obvious color difference between these two liquids.
Yours is lighter. Or no?
Ooh.
No. Yours is darker. Yours is more amber.
Yeah, yours is.
This is definitely more that honey
color.
This is the second bottle
with cognac.
This is the cognac and Oloroso sherry finish. Yep. So as soon as I was pouring this into the glass, I was like, "Ooh, that looks a lot darker."
On the nose, it's different too. It's
Yeah.
not as intense.
No, it's not. It's softer.
Ooh, it's much softer. Interesting.
Yeah, that actually does surprise me. I'd have thought the blend, the double finish, I'd have thought that would have been a lighter color, which is what's great about these bottles being blacked out. If these were the regular Penelope bottles with the clear glass and they were sitting side by side on the shelf and people see one bottle's darker and one bottle's lighter, I think a lot of people would gravitate towards the darker.
Yeah.
Because they just assume that darker quality is going to have a richer, heavier flavor to it.
And correct me, like these are exclusive to Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Penelope
So,
brand, but just these
Penelope
ones.
Project X was something that came out earlier this year. It was a limited release throughout the U.S. These were exclusive to OHLQ.
Okay.
So these barrels were handpicked by OHLQ. But
Got
there
it.
were still other Project X's that released elsewhere.
So this cigar, it's not mellowing, but I'm getting a little bit as I've gotten into it. If I don't do the retrohale, I do get a little bit more of a balanced smoke.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's kind of like I'm only an inch maybe into it, and it's already kind of grown a little bit, which is nice.
and given the history and reputation of the La Bamba and the Warhead, I was expecting this to be an absolute flavor bomb on the palate, like just big, heavy, rich. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot more balance and subtleness going on with this blend.
Trying to look up how many cigars they put out.
For the 11?
Yeah.
Well, the Independence Day was what, 1,000 boxes or 1,200 boxes?
So they didn't disclose exactly how many of these they put out, but it's around 4,000
Cigars or boxes?
boxes.
Okay.
Boxes.
So
The
10 count
one is a
boxes.
6.5 by 54 box press. No, wait.
What about the re-ups?
I'm trying to see that here.
Stand by.
I'll say I think I have it in my text from Tyler of the dimensions.
Yeah, that's all it really says.
Mike, you're a big Warhead
Oh, yeah.
fan. What do you think? How's this compared to some of the others?
This is probably, I think I told you.
You did, yeah.
This is my favorite one of all of them. Before this, my favorite one was still the number 6, which is the third iteration that they're re-releasing.
Should be shipping soon.
So I don't know. With this one, I agree with you. Like, it's very well balanced. It's got a really good, almost like coffee, dark chocolate, woodsy. And it's like it goes from both of those two, and it finishes very woodsy, and it's consistent. It doesn't really change.
Yeah.
And this is I think this is my, I want to say this is my fifth Warhead 11 that I've had, and it's been consistent each and every time.
That's good.
Like, the flavor profile is very unique. I think they did a little extra pepper than they normally do for most of the Warheads, but that's just my opinion.
Could be the way it's smoking for sure.
Could be two. Yeah, this one is just from start to finish. It's just very well balanced and consistent all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It really hasn't been a whole lot of change throughout the cigar.
Just from the beginning. I mean, in the beginning, I think it did have a punch to it. Now I think it's balanced out. And it could be the ring gauge because, again, get that concentrated at the end when you light it up. I think at the foot, it's going to have a little bit of just the airflow, I think, will affect that. But once it opens up, it definitely does get a little more balanced. How do you guys think it's pairing?
I definitely
With the first one, I've got the sherry still. You do too.
So
right.
Definitely going from cigar to bourbon is a great. Now, going from bourbon to cigar, I think, in my opinion, takes away from the cigar a little bit, but going from cigar to bourbon really brings out the flavor in that bourbon. I found it to be kind of consistent, though. Like, at least all the times I've been on, when you get...
Wait till you try it with this bottle.
Is it going to be the opposite?
It's going to be
You'll
different.
find out.
I guess I'm going to find out.
Holy shit!
I find when I get a lot more, because it's one a week proof, right?
Yep, both of them. All three of the
It's-
releases were 108.
It's got a bit of a burn to it. I've noticed whenever I have cigars that have a lot of pepper on the front end, it kind of cancels out a lot of that burning sensation. It really brings out the flavor. I feel like that's been a consistent.
Of the bottle.
Yeah, just in general with a lot of bourbons that I've tried, like especially the ones here, it's
Sometimes spice on spice will amplify, and then sometimes it'll cancel to where you
yes.
taste more sweetness.
Yes, that's exactly how I would describe it.
I'm still getting that sharpness at the end of that dry sharpness of this first bottle. It just lingers.
Cranberries.
Got like cranberries, man.
Not the fruit, man.
The band, yeah, of course. Hey, thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Folks will be here all week. Try the deal.
I like the. I noticed that the first one, it's at first like in the cigar. I agree. They both came out pretty strong, and
Is that
I've
mic
noticed
on?
Mm-hmm.
As you, is that better?
As
As you,
directional.
as you smoke it and drink it, like I don't know if it does something to your, I don't know, like the burn kind of goes away, like the Kentucky Hug, and then even on the retro hail, is it just after a while she just gets numb back there? Is that kind
It
of
can.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, your the nerve endings in your tongue and your mouth obviously will kind of like not deaden, but they'll get a little bit more subdued at that point.
Okay. Well, I kind of like that in the sense that that way you can get more flavor out of both instead of just sometimes you get overwhelmed by so much heat that you oversees that. And now you got to really appreciate the combo.
Yeah, with the whiskey, that was something that Nate and I learned down in Louisville. At least that's when I learned it, is that sometimes when you take your first sip, if you're doing tastings, you literally will treat it like mouthwash a bit and kind of swish it around, and it kind of hits all of the nerve endings and everything.
So that's why at Carfini's, when people are doing their wine flights, they have 5 different wines in front of them. We pour them lightest to heaviest, but we always recommend people, take a couple sips, go around the board, and then come back. Yeah. Because sometimes it'll taste different the second time around because now your palate's acclimated to the alcohol and flavors. And so that first one comes across real light, but then it can come back around and you might pick out more stuff on that bottle.
Yeah. It's always nice when you guys are doing tastings, if you do a flight of something, it's very common, I think, that when people are doing it, they'll talk about the first one, right? If you have someone kind of guiding you through it, or if you order a flight from some restaurant or bar, you kind of kill the first one, not shoot it, but you know what I mean? You kind of go through the first one and then you go to the second and then the third and so on. It's always good advice, in my opinion, to kind of sample it. You know, sample the first, talk about it, whatever you want to do, or kind of experience that, and then leave some in there, go to the second, and so on. And then you can kind of revisit it like Nate's talking about, because as you've had, say, 3 different or 4 different in a flight, you will have a different experience going back to the first and so on as well.
Yeah. I've done that doing barrel picks where you pick, you take a sip of the first couple, or maybe you finish it, because usually when you're doing a pick, you get just a very, very small sample. Mm-hmm. But once you do 5 or 6, it's like, all right,
the Nashville Barrel Company.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was 20 bottles.
It's a long 2 hours.
But no, like sometimes you now that your palate's adjusted, those later samples, you're picking out all these different flavors, and you're like, I didn't pick much out there in the first couple. I kind of want to revisit those because maybe my palate just wasn't ready to start tasting whiskey or tasting wine, and you want to go back and see what was there that you may have missed.
Every time. Let me try that the double finish if I could.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's good.
We're gonna have to do 2 sets. We're gonna have to do 2 sets of we're gonna do 2 sets of ratings.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
So this, again, you guys can see it on the screen if you guys aren't watching, but rather listening. They're identical bottles.
Wow, that's completely different.
Right?
Completely different.
Right? Like, holy shit.
Ooh.
Nate will hand that back to you.
I think that applies.
Again, not a whole lot different on the labels either. I mean, it's just a little description on the front, same little saying, if you will, on the back.
Yep.
Is that a QR? No, not a QR code, is it?
No, there's
No QR
just
code.
UPC.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Oh, yeah, that's got some sting on the nostril on that one.
Yeah, I mean, this one's, the first one said right on there, finishing cask origin, Jerez, Spain, as I mentioned. And then this one has that plus the Cognac France.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'll get to this here.
that is quite different. Yeah,
It is,
fruit definitely.
which
more,
I was not expecting.
almost like a not quite syrupy, but like
No, it is. It is
like syrupy almost.
yeah. When you let it sit there, that finish, it hangs around like
It's
syrup.
like you know, after you have
that's-
syrup, it kind of leaves like that film in your mouth a little bit afterwards.
I of the two first sip, I mean, I definitely prefer the second bottle.
Mhm.
It is. I keep saying it. It's not. It doesn't have the sharpness of the first bottle at the finish. It's more velvety. It's
Yeah, it's a different texture.
again a different type of sweetness. I'm trying to really pick it. You said it's like basically that brandy, but we're got good friends of the show like Watershed, where they have the apple brandy, which is very different. That's
Yeah.
very
So
like
good.
punchy. This
especially
is more
last
subdued.
year's was very punchy, which is why they're not doing it this year. Because last year that apple brandy that they used for the fall finishing was a very young apple
Yeah.
brandy, and that's why that finishing series last year for that particular one, it was very sharp. It was very bitey.
Yeah.
They're holding off on that one this year because they want to get that apple brandy aged longer before they use it to do a finish on.
No, I like this one a lot better. I mean,
A lot better.
comparing the two, I'm glad we went that way. And I will have, we'll do the same thing. Maybe have a small pour of the first one, if that's all right, Nate.
Yep,
after this.
absolutely.
Because right off the rip on the second pour, just for me, again, not liking the kind of the sherry, as you were talking about, where the Oloroso, where it's that dessert wine with the
Dry.
the dryness. This is not dry. You get a little bit of salivate, coming. You're salivating, which is much more enjoyable. It's like eating something that you enjoy versus something that you kind of have like, I don't know. This is nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very surprised because, like I said, I've had some cognac.
Night and day.
I've had cognacs. I've had brandies. A lot of them just tend to be very bright, sharp, kind of like French oak aged bourbons and stuff like that, or finished bourbons. But no, this one, the combination is absolutely fantastic. And these are not age stated, but they do start out as at least 4-year-old bourbons before they're finished.
Tell you what, it softens the cigar a little bit as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
That's
hitting
that
the-
sweetness because it lingers a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I go whiskey and then immediately go to the cigar, like that ethanol that's lingering on the palate, all of a sudden just gets
Eviscerates.
amplified.
Oh, it
Oh
gets
no! Like
amplified.
all of a sudden, I get this burn sensation.
With
I didn't
this
have
now,
that. I had the opposite.
I do too. The first one I did. This bottle, it's more just overall balanced. It's
Yeah.
kind of a smooth transition for me. It kind of softens the cigar. And going back to the
Okay,
bourbon,
man, I was just early on.
going back to the bourbon, I definitely, there's a different flavor there. I'm trying to pick it out, but it's
Doing both of these back to back, if you didn't have the front label,
mhm.
I would have thought that the second one was just the Oloroso, and then the first one was the double finish
Why?
because it's brighter and sharper, and that's what I get when I drink cognac.
Mm.
Oh,
I
okay.
would have thought that would have been the double finish,
Interesting.
and I would have thought that the first one was the Oloroso. Now, don't get me wrong, that first one, knowing it's Oloroso sherry finish, I taste that when I mentioned it earlier. I taste that on the palate when I let it sit there on the palate.
Okay.
But I mean, just blind tasting, if I didn't know what was on the front label, like I almost would have had the label switched.
Huh.
Interesting.
And there were people that were coming in looking for these, and the double finish was actually the one they were looking for the most. That was the one that was being most requested. Now,
This
part
one?
Now, part of that's also because when OHLQ does these releases and these picks, there's usually multiple barrels, and so the email that OHLQ sends out will have flavor notes of each barrel.
Oh,
So people will sit there.
Got it.
It's crazy. We get people that will sit there. They could be looking for the double finish,
mhm.
and they'll ask like, "Oh, what barrel is that?" Like, "Oh, it's 2130-2." No, I was looking for the other one.
Yeah,
Like,
based on description,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
No, that's
All right.
night and day for me.
It is.
It's just the drinking experience, right? It's first one almost like felt like it was giving me heartburn.
You look like you're struggling a little bit.
That's just me.
You got some pellets coming.
Yeah, sweater.
Yeah.
And I worked out after.
You're all amped up.
Yeah, yeah.
You got your
Jacked
pre-gym,
up
you got your
on
bourbon,
Mountain
cigar,
Dew, yeah.
everything.
No, I like it. So let's do some ratings here. Sean,
Yeah.
you want to get in on these? Yeah.
Let's hear it,
You know,
Sean.
the ratings here. At the end of part one, we're doing 2 parts again tonight. We've got a topic for part 2. We are still smoking the 601 La Bamba Warhead 11. We're drinking 2 bottles, Penelope Project X. So if you guys just tuning in now, we got Sean Wilkinson in the audience here. He wants to chime in here on the ratings. Go ahead.
Yep. The first bottle, probably give it 8.5. Like you said, I got a lot of heartburn on the front, like right when I started.
Right?
I'm like, should get some Prilosec or shit. So I don't know, maybe it help. Anyway, but it's still, I still enjoyed the flavor. I love, and like I said earlier, once that kind of went away and everything got numbed down, you really got more flavor out of it. So 8.5 for that one. I'll probably do an 8 for that one, and then 8.5 for the other one. I do like that second one better. I like that it's a lot, like we talked about, a lot more viscosity, thicker. Again, maybe just because everything's numb, it didn't burn as much as the first. Like I got more flavor out of it.
So in part 2, come back to the first one.
Yeah, I will. Be interested to see that. The cigar 9, it's amazing. I agree with everything you guys have been saying. I'm not going to repeat what you all said, but basically the balance of it and as time goes on, like the retrohale, I really enjoy it. But with the pairing on the first one, I'll give it an 8. I just really, for the first time, usually I'm always like drink and then do this, hit the cigar with the retrohale, and I always like that. I like what you said, Mike. It was do the cigar, then the drink, and I felt like I got more flavor, a lot more sweetness out of that one. The second one, though, I'll go back to my old ways, is like the second one, I took a sip and retrohaled, and I don't know what I got, some kind of nutty or woodsy or some kind of flavor on that retrohale.
Okay.
After I took a sip of the second one.
Yeah.
And that pairing, I'll give it 8.5 because I think that they seem to pair a little bit better for me. So
Okay.
that's all I got.
Mike, how about you?
I'm gonna start with the first one,
The sherry finish.
the sherry finish. I'm gonna give it like a 7. It's not terrible. It's also definitely not my favorite. It's too what's the term I'm looking for? Like the burn is a little much. I will say though, going from acidic. There you go, acidic. But when he went from cigar to bourbon, it was definitely a different experience. And I do appreciate when you said let it sit for a little bit, like that helped me bump it up. Because at first I was like, man, I'm really not liking this. But once I did that, the flavor it's weird, like that ethanol sensation. If you let it sit, it dissipates really quick.
Yes.
Rather than just sipping it and downing it, letting it sit, it dissipates real fast, and then all the flavor comes out. So because of that, I'll give it like a 7. Still probably not my thing, but it's better than I expected after all of that. This one, on the other hand, I'm giving this sucker a 9.
Okay.
This one is just so smooth. It pairs well. It doesn't have that burn that the first one did, even though they're both 108 proof.
Yep.
The flavor is just so much thicker and richer. I kind of like that, almost like that syrupy, almost like aftertaste to it.
A lot of times that viscosity is different on proofs.
Yes.
So a lot of times when you have a higher proof, you will get something that is more viscous. It's something that lingers. It lingers in the glass, has longer legs, lingers in the palate longer.
Yeah.
So that's what's great about them doing this, where all 3 are the exact same proof.
Yeah.
That negates that as an issue.
And then for the cigar, I go to the cigar before I do the pairings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Dude, the cigar, I'm lingering somewhere between 9 and like 9.5.
Okay.
This is my favorite Warhead of the
Call
series.
925.
9.2. We'll call it 925. This is so far my favorite of the Warhead series, and I'll come back to that rating when I get a hold of the re-release of the 6, because the 6 was my favorite of the series, but it's been so many years. It's like I need to come back to it. This one, just everything from the construction, like you said, with the Figurado, the way it opens up so quickly, it's super easy to do. The flavor, it's very rich in flavor, like you said, like the coffee notes, like the chocolate notes, and then it finishes with that strong, like woodsy, and it lingers and it stays. It's consistent from start to finish. Again, this is my 5th one, so like even when I've gotten it all the way down to like as close as I can, it's still the same cigar. It doesn't hotbox like some other ones do, especially with the good draw.
No tongue bite.
No tongue bite. It's just super well balanced, very consistent, strong, very flavorful. It's 925. Now the pairing with this guy, I'll give with the first one, I'll give the pairing like a 7.5, just because going from cigar to the bourbon really amplified it in a good way. But the pairing with these two is a solid 9. And I say they both, it doesn't matter, bourbon to cigar, cigar to bourbon, they both complement each other and bring out the flavor very, very well.
You know, Mike, I'm actually right there with you on those. I mean, I'm almost identical, I think. I think with the first bottle and the sherry cask, I mean, I'm 7, you know, and that's just kind of around that, you know. It's not like, you said it's not a bad bottle. It's still enjoyable. It's just, it's not something that I would, if I had the opportunity, I wouldn't rebuy it. It's just not for me. The finish isn't for me. I'm interested to try it after I'm done with this glass again to see if that's just because, you know, whatever I ate today leading up to the podcast or whatever I, had on my palate before that. Just not necessarily for me. The second bottle, 8.5. So I mean, it's a full 1.5 higher for me on that. The cigar, I like the Warhead. This isn't for everyone. I think the Warhead series in general, they call it that. The 601 La Bamba with the yellow label, it's a strong cigar. The Warhead Project with the broadleaf and the Nicaraguan filler and binder, this was intentionally strong. I mean, and I do have a couple of texts here from
Eric.
Eric didn't get back to me. So that's what I'm saying. I don't like to bother people necessarily on the Wednesday night. Hector says sneaky strong, and he hopes we pair it well. So I'll have to follow up with him after the fact. But that was something where it's intentional, right? I mean, that's what they did. The Independence Day, what we smoked with Hector and Tyler, different blend.
That was a good one.
It's still available on shelves, but it's if they're still out there. I mean,
they're not
all limited runs. So Tinder Box has just a small amount left of the Independence Day, sitting right next to the chef special from the knuckle sandwich line. But the cigar for me, I'm 8.5. I like this a lot. For me, it is, even with that retrohale, it has such a punch to it that it's you have to be in the mood for this. For me, this is a very good cigar. The construction's top notch. The smoking experience is top notch. The flavor profile I really enjoy. It's not something that you can just grab any time of the day with anything and pair it easily. I think this does pair well with the second bottle that we have with the sherry and cognac finishes on that. I'll give that pairing an 8.5. I think that's a great pairing. The first pairing, I think it's my opinion of the bottle. I don't care for it a whole lot. I'm back down to a 7 on the pairing for the first bottle. How about you, Nate?
So when you started saying how close you were to Mike's, I was already thinking that like there's really only one difference between my ratings and Mike's. So first bottle, the Oloroso sherry finish, 7.
Wow.
I think this though is a great example. If you are someone who likes finished whiskeys, I think it is very important for you to try the actual product it's being finished in.
Sure.
So if you like stuff that's finished in Oloroso sherry barrels, or you don't know what that is, go get a fairly inexpensive bottle of Oloroso Sherry and try it. So that way you know what that flavor is. Because then when you try something finished in that barrel, you'll be able to see what's coming from that finishing barrel versus the original distillate. So this is something that you could very easily go out, get the Penelope weeded, and then get a bottle of Oloroso Sherry, try them separately. And then when you try this, now you know what flavors are coming from where.
Or what to expect, right?
And you can do that with anything finished. If it's if it's finished in a rosé barrel, if it's finished in a red wine barrel, if it's finished in a rum barrel, a port barrel, like try that actual product. So that, because I think that'll actually help you enjoy finished products more, because now you know what flavors are being imparted from the finishing cask versus the original distillate. So,
and maybe what to expect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The first one, 7, the double finish, the Oloroso and cognac, that's the one that really surprised me. I am a 9 on that one as well. Great mouthfeel, great flavor. Like I said, it surprised me going into this that my beforehand I'd have thought my review would have been the other way around, but having tried them back to back, the double finish, I do like that one more. The cigar, that's where I'm going to differ a little bit. This is not my favorite of the Warhead series.
Ooh.
I've got, I think at least the last 3, maybe 4 releases of the Warhead. I've got like a couple of those each. I probably want to, I'd love to go back and smoke those over the course of the next few days. It's still a great cigar. I'm going to give the Warhead 11 an 8.
Okay.
But some of the other releases I thought were a little richer, a little fuller flavor, not as much woodiness on it, not as dry on the palate. Still a very good cigar. Not quite as rich and heavy as what I was expecting, having had so many of the previous releases.
How do you think it pairs with the 2 different bottles?
So just like you guys, with the sherry finish, that one's a 7. That sharpness kind of going cigar to whiskey, I think, for the most part, with all the pairings that we've done, our favorite way is cigar to whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with this. Those two together, it's a 7. But the second bottle, the double finish, that's where the pairing's really at. That pairing's a 9.
Nice.
Because that additional sweetness, that syrupy, that viscous mouthfeel, like that really helps with this cigar.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like everyone's kind of on the same page. Everyone's that's doing this in the garage.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, we were very, very close. As you were giving your ratings, I was like, same. Then the cigar, then the cigar is where we were going to be a little bit different. I knew you and I were going to be different on the cigar.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mike was kind of raving about it, kind of leading into it. So, no, I mean, that's so. If you differ from that, I'm kind of more, with Mike, almost kind of in the middle of you two on that one. That being said, we're going to roll straight into part 2, but for the audio purposes, we're going to cheers to the end of part 1. So, guys, stay tuned. We're not going to lose the feed here. We're going to straight into it. But cheers, happy Whiskey Wednesday. Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you very much, Nate. Sean, thank you for being here. All you guys, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it.
He's waiting.
There it is. That's a good one. Cheers. Happy Whiskey Wednesday.
Can they still hear us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh, cool.
So tonight, put it up here, and then I'll do the intro.
The first one does get a little better.
What's that?
Yeah. Welcome back to the Bourbon and BS podcast, everyone. This is episode 342, part 2. Beyond the BS here. We are still sipping on the different Penelope Project X bottles that Nate brought into the garage tonight. Thank you very much. Listen to part 1 if you guys are just tuning in, or you hit part 2 on the audio. We'll talk about both of those different bottles. Same basic mash bill, everything else, just different finishes, right? Mm-hmm. One is in the Oloroso Sherry, the other is in that, and also finished in the cognac barrels. Mm-hmm. So some differences there. We're still smoking. Looks like everyone's got plenty of cigar left at the moment. The 601 La Bamba Warhead 11. This is the newest iteration. I'll take this banner off the screen so you can see the the very cool collector's tin that it comes in, 10 count box / tube / bomb, whatever. Careful. And can't say that on a plane, but
Can't say bomb on an airplane.
you can't say it.
Bomb, bomb, bomb,
can't
bomb,
say it.
bomb, bomb.
Unless you have Tourette's. So yeah, so tonight we've got Mike in here. He is Mike Dieter, and he brought to the podcast a topic: be careful what you wish for. This is where we kind of keep sipping on the bourbon, smoking the cigars, and talking about life a little bit. Kind of differentiates us from other cigar and bourbon podcasts. So, Mike, I'm going to just kind of lean into you here. And,
You didn't finish reading the rest of the description.
well, that's what the topic is.
Oh, that's
I mean, that's what I said.
yeah. I'm curious as to what you actually wrote.
I got to look it up here. I'm going to lose this here. Hang on. Stand by.
This was another great example of where Mike came to the table like, hey, here's what I want to talk about. And Mike just blah, 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 just goes on with a story. Like, this is what happened. This is what inspired me for this topic. Blah, blah, blah. And then Steve goes, be careful what you wish for. It's like, yep, there we go. That's short, sweet, and to the point.
Sometimes the path to what you're wanting in life isn't the path you thought it would be. Was a summary that I came up with.
You had like that
your-
one-liner.
I mean, it's a summary. That's of what you were talking about. So, go ahead, man. What do we got? What are we talking about?
Okay.
Besides life in general.
I mean, where do I start? Usually we do intermission to give myself like a minute to regroup, but I'll just dive into it.
Do it from the cuff.
So like,
go.
hence, be careful, what you wish for. It's
Be careful. You came up with a topic. Now you got to start it.
yeah.
Be careful what you wish for, man.
That was good.
You've had an hour to get ready.
He texted me like 2 days ago.
I did. No, it was longer than that.
All right, 3
Anyways, besides the point. So yeah, just be careful what you wish for. Like, what kind of inspired that is a couple different things. It's, well, number one, and it's because of some of the things that's happened to me very recently, and it really kind of came to my attention with something that specifically has happened. But there's been a pattern of things, and anyone who's watched any of the other podcasts that I've been on, I like to share a lot of stories. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, like with the specific stories that I've shared, like from the one with my dad and who I became as a result, the wrestling story, where I'm at in my life right now. All those things stem from at one period of time. There's things that I've always wanted. There's things that, I wish this could happen. I wish I could become this and stuff like that. And regardless of whoever you are, if you pray for things, if you put it out into the world for things, like, I hope that this can happen, that can happen. I've witnessed recently, there's a lot of people, I'm not going to name names, but I've been in contact with a lot of people that have, either are very grateful for things that, that have happened to them. And there's other people that wish, and they sit there and they wish, kind of going back to like your thing where, what are you going to do about it? Kind of a topic. It all kind of encompasses everything in together. And, if you want something in your life and you put it out there, the world will give you the opportunity to do it. I'm a very firm believer at this point now that if you put it out there, it will come to you, but sometimes it's not in the way that you envision it.
Some Field of Dream stuff there, man.
I mean, it's the truth. Like, I see so many people in today's world, they're suffering. Like, they feel like they're stuck in their life. Like, they're in bad relationships, they're in bad marriages, they're in bad jobs, they're in bad friendships, they got bad social circles. And they're all like, I wish this, I wish that. It's like, your answers are all around you. And sometimes they're closer than you think, if you just are open to what's actually around you. And like, going back from like my previous story with like, everything, who I became, like who I wanted to become when I was younger, with everything with my dad's situation, I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't because of all of that, what led me to where I'm at now. And I lost my train of thought there for a second, but it's like, it wasn't the path that I envisioned it to be. In like the wrestling story that I shared too, it's like, there's something that I desperately wanted, but the world went, okay. And this is the other kicker, is there may be things that you think that you want, but the world sometimes will also, and this, hence, be careful what you wish for. It's the world might just actually test you to see if that's actually what you really want. And are you actually in a position to obtain what it is that you want?
Are
The
you
world,
ready?
what?
Are you ready?
Like, are you actually ready for it? And that's happened to me multiple times in my life. But more recently, it's kind of to me, it's a really just funny, ironic story. And because one thing that's happened to me recently is, now I'm going to take a kind of a sidestep to kind of set it up a little bit. You know, in our lives, we all have things that we're passionate about, but we also have burdens, and burden being not a negative thing. It's a good thing. So
Responsibilities.
not even responsibility. So there's
okay.
imagine there's things that you love to do. There's things that you enjoy, but for some people, there's something that's so like deeply rooted in them that they have to do it. Like, for example, for me, like, what's probably the one thing you see me doing more than anything out in public? I'll talk to a complete stranger about it. I talk to you about it all the time. What do?
Health, fitness,
It's
supplements,
like
cigars.
I am so compelled, going back to the whole, like, the story, like my dad from the previous podcast, like, it's all rooted in that. I cannot help myself. Even if I try to tell myself, Mike, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's like, I will not go to sleep at night knowing that, like, man, I could have given 2 minutes of my time to really help someone's trajectory. Like, and it cost me nothing. Right. Like, that's my burden in life.
That was a burden.
Like, it's in a burden in a positive way, not a negative way. It's the thing that's deeply rooted inside of you that you keep suppressing, that you know you have to do. And no matter how much you try to, like, push it down or tuck it away, like, it was always lingering with you. And for some people, it's, you know, I want to start a business, or, like, I really want to accomplish X, Y, or Z. And for whatever reason, you come up with excuses, or, you know, you blame your circumstances, but it never goes away, and it stays with you forever. That's a burden, something that you have to do. And if you don't do it, your intuition will tell you, why aren't you doing this? You'll keep ruminating and thinking about it. It'll keep you awake at night. It's the things that keep you awake at night that you know that you have to do, but that you're not doing.
Well, I think anytime you're passionate about something, your body's going to find a way to bring it up, to think about it, to talk about it, to introduce it. Like, you're going to find a way. It's not necessarily like, you know, someone comes up and goes, hey, what do you think about this car? It's like, oh yeah, have you seen this supplement? It's like, well, that's not
not the same.
That's not the same thing. It's just, you talk to someone about something, and all of a sudden that person mentions, like, oh yeah, I've been dealing with this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, let me tell you about this study that just came out with this, and
that's a small example of, like, really, if that's know what you want, that's what you want to do. The life will present opportunities to show you, if this is what you want, this is what you're going to get. You may not get to decide how it comes into fruition, but opportunities are shown to you. And one of the things is, I've done this for a good portion. I do a lot of self-reflecting and looking at, and more recently, and this is kind of the story, and I'm going to be as careful as I can trying to explain it for certain reasons.
Yeah,
but
take your time with it.
And so, you know, in my life, like, who I am today is very different than who I used to be, in both positive and negative ways. It's not always just positive, because yes, I'm a positive, grateful, you know, person for the most part, but I'm not perfect either, right? You know, I do struggle with things like impulsivity and patience at times. You know, I feel like I do have burdens deeply rooted in me. One of them being that I want to spend more of my life helping other people. You know, obviously my day job, which I love to do, that's not going to go away, but I really want to find ways, how can I do what I love to do at a higher scale? But the other thing too, is I also feel like there's just something, it's like there's a spark inside of me that, you know, again, I'm not an unhappy person by any means, and I'm not like a Debbie Downer by any means, but, like, there's like a spark in me that was kind of missing, and like something that I used to have, like just the kind of level of excitement that I get when I'm in the position of, like, helping people. Like, there's something about that, like, how can I harness that? Like, what do I need to do?
Can we substitute the word burden in the context? Would you say an appropriate word would be a calling?
Oh yeah, calling.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So you're fine.
Yeah, a calling, right?
All right.
this is flame retardant.
And so,
Flame retardant.
is it really?
Whoa. Never go full. Never mind.
It's 2025, baby. We're bringing it
And
back.
so in the time, like, it's weird. It's crazy how sometimes when you actually take the time to really go, you know, if you really take the time to think about what it is that you actually really want or that you think that you want,
Yeah.
you know, I was in a position where, like, there's a couple things that when I was doing my self-reflecting, that I'm like, I'm at a point where, you know what, I have like this burning calling inside of me that I'm not fulfilling to the point that I need to be. And that really started, it was weighing, like, as time has gone along, it's been weighing heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. I mean, kind of going back to the point where your intuition is going to eventually get to a point where, like, enough is enough. Like, you have to do something about it. Like, that's what I mean by burden calling.
Yeah.
And one of them is genuinely helping people. But I also took it a step further, and I was like, with all of that, I want to be a more patient and less impulsive individual, and I want to be able to trust the process in however it's going to look. Like, whatever needs to happen, like, show me the way that I need to be going to at least get me in a position where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fall off the path. Like, it's clear to me now that the world does, you know, show you the way.
Just out of curiosity, are you a religious person?
I mean, I am.
Okay.
I mean,
just curious.
a lot of people don't know that because I'm not the
No.
kind of person who, like, preaches it per se. Like, it's
I
kind of
didn't
like my
know
own
if
thing.
that's kind of your self-reflection. Is it prayer? Is it meditation? Like, what it is?
It's kind of honestly, for me, it's a combination of all the
Okay,
above.
yeah. You don't have
It's
to get
not.
it.
It's
I'm
not.
just
It's
curious.
not just like a one avenue, because, you know, I believe in stuff like karma and all that kind of stuff. Like, I believe you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. And so keep in mind, I asked for, the last thing I asked for is, like, because of the way, like, this calling was feeling, I'm like, I don't want to hold on to any callings anymore. So whatever I have that's
Don't
in,
suppress them.
like, no more suppressing anything.
Mhm.
Like, no more, because there's plenty of things that I've suppressed, and anyways, there's plenty of them. Like, whatever the world needs to do to show me that this is what I need to do, like, cool. After I did that, literally just days after I had that moment with myself, something very interesting happened. Again, this is the part I'm going to be careful for.
Okay.
It's an opportunity arose that I didn't see coming. And what happened was, it was on, like, a social media post, and it was kind of like an outreach for some assistance in the health and fitness, like, realm. And of
Mhm.
course, me being me, I'm like, oh, cool. But what I wasn't expecting was the individual who it was. And this is someone that nobody in my entire life knows about, and someone I haven't actually spoken to in about 20 years. And when I saw the post, I'm like, I don't know if I should, but maybe, like, but again, the calling to me is like, I can't not do it. So what do? I go ahead and I do it.
What'd you do? Comment?
I message.
Okay.
Because honestly, me being me, like, I can't comment on things. Like, as Nate says, like, I'm a storyteller. It's like, I go all in on it.
You wrote a book.
Yeah, I basically wrote a book.
I got you.
And so, and there's a backstory about the individual, which I'm not going to go into too much detail about. But it felt so good to be able to help out in that individual, because this individual was kind of struggling a little bit and didn't really have, like, a social circle that was, like, supportive and knew what they're talking about. And so I'm like, I was more than happy to jump in and give the advice and stuff like that. And because we haven't spoken in 20 years, you know, other things came up. And one of my, I wouldn't call it a calling. This one I would call a burden. It's
Okay.
something that I've held on to for a very, very long time. Again, I never thought I'd even speak to this person ever again. And sure enough, like, the conversation kind of shifted into a different topic. And both sets of circumstances are not in a position whatsoever in a good context. And confessions were made that neither one of us ever did 20 plus years ago. And this is an individual that always kind of had like a special place in the back of my mind, which I completely suppressed.
I love
And
watching Nate's reactions on the screen.
yeah, I'm not even looking.
I
feel like we need to be in a circle and story time.
Yeah, this is why like I'm not even looking at the screen. I'm not even looking at the screen. And it's just through that conversation, it's like I had an opportunity to get off my chest things that I should have a long time ago. And so did the other individual. And before you know it, the conversation kind of became a bit explosive. And then me being me, what did I ask for? Patience and to be able to not be as impulsive. And with that in mind, the conversation eventually kind of was like, okay, back up real quick. Like, what is going on here? Like, I never thought in a million years that I'd ever even speak to this person ever again, let alone be in a position where I'm actually helping this individual just after I asked, I was having that self-reflection about all of this stuff. Like coincidentally, and at the same time, like I can't go into too much detail, but with the other person's circumstances, the timing was just so peculiar.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that could have been a coincidence. Like it was a coincidence technically, but like there's no way 20 years have gone by. The circumstances stand as what they are. I asked to be more patient, to not be impulsive, and to be able to be in a position to help people. All three of those things were put together in one particular scenario. And the other one that I mentioned too, by having like that spark, just being able to get that off of my chest, like made me feel like alive again in a way that I haven't felt in a long time. And eventually what happened was the conversation, they say like you have like chapters in your life that were never finished. This one is more like that empty page is now written and now there's a bookmark in it. And I have no idea if that chapter is ever going to get finished or not, but just being able to have that experience was a big eye opener for me that like, you know what? I never even thought of that even being a potential scenario to ever even come to fruition in a way that I was able to help the individual at the same time. I never thought in a million years out of all the people that I've helped, it'd be that one individual. And eventually the conversation ended. And it's just, I have no idea if the conversation is ever going to be brought up ever again. I'm not even worried about it.
How long ago was this?
This was,
Can you say? I don't know.
a few weeks ago.
Okay. So recent.
And like normally for someone like me, it's like I'm impulsive. I am very impatient. And it's like, I realized in that moment, like, you know what? This was a sign that like exactly what I asked for came in a way that I kind of guess this, like I had no idea it was going to roll out the way that it did, but I'm glad that it did because it opened my mind up to know like, it's almost like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Evan Almighty when
when
the wife and kids are in the diner eating.
Yes.
And like, if someone prays for patience, does God give them patience, or does He put them in a position to be patient? Does
He give you strength, or does He give you the opportunity to?
There you go.
And it's just it's so much of my life. It's the more I've started to self-reflect, the more I realize that a lot of those types of scenarios have happened throughout my lifetime. And it's mainly because I had the courage to step into the things that I know I wanted, and the world tested me at the same time to see if, one, is this what you really want? And two, are you actually ready to, obtain what it is you're looking for? And sometimes the world actually puts you on a path and a journey to get you to be who you need to be so you can obtain the things that you actually want in your life. And it kind of goes full circle with everyone out there. If no matter who you are, if there's things in your life that aren't going the way that you want it to go, life is always giving you opportunities. And sometimes you have to be more open-minded to your surroundings and the opportunities that are around you so that you can actually have the happiness that you're looking for, whether it's relationships, jobs, social circles. If maybe there's things in your life you want to achieve, if you really want those things, the opportunities are there. It may not be the path of which you expect it to go, but it's there.
Well,
there.
There's also an element of action that needs to be taken.
Absolutely.
Like, you can want certain things and opportunities to do those could come up, but if you're not going to actually take action to do those, then how much did you really want that? Like here's okay, you want to do this. Here's an opportunity to be able to do that. It may not be in a direct way, but it's a path.
Yep.
But do you want to be able to do that? Yeah. If I had to simplify it, in the later years of my dad working at UPS as a driver, he used to have people on his routes who are like, man, you guys have a great job. You guys get like 6 weeks vacation every year. And he goes, yeah, I started out 6 years as a package loader part-time at 6 a.m. every day. And then I've been driving for 20 plus years. And that's how I get there. So if you want that, cool. This is how you do it. And they're like,
yeah.
I don't want to go through all that. Like, well,
yeah.
Like you want to just skip the line and get all the benefits without going through the work.
It's like, do you remember the episode that we did where I explained like the wrestling tournament? Remember that one? Mm-hmm. That's probably one of my best examples because, the two things that I really wanted to accomplish at that point was I wanted to stop coming up with excuses. I wanted to stop quitting because remember who I used to be. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted the opportunity to like prove to myself that I'm not going to do that anymore. And I also wanted to be an All-American. And at that point in the very last, like I said, the very last match, I'd already gotten one of the two. And then what happened? I tore my hamstring. I lost a tooth. It's like I had every reason to be like, you want to quit now? Mm-hmm. You're going to quit now? Mm-hmm. And I just decided in the moment, I'm like, no, I don't care if I have to be walked off of that mat. Like I'm not quitting anymore. And what ended up happening is I did get carried off the mat, but it just kind of goes to show it's like the world.
But you tried.
But it goes to show like, are you sure that's what you want? Because if you want, the world's going to go, okay, let's see if you can handle this. Rather than just giving it away. Like sometimes life has a way of putting you through something to where you are so confident and sure this is exactly what you want that you have to go through that to really realize what it takes to obtain it and what it means to have that.
When we first started talking about this, the first thing that popped in my mind, be careful what you wish for, was teenagers.
That too. That's a great one.
You have a lot of teenagers out there that they want freedom. They want the freedom to do this, to go out when they want, to go hang out with who they want, to drive, to do all these things. But then there's responsibility that comes with those. And sometimes they're not ready for the responsibility, or they don't want the responsibility. Or if they get the freedom to do something and then they make a mistake and they screw up, they don't want the consequences and the repercussions of that freedom. It's like you can't have one without the other.
Yep.
If you want to be treated like an adult, okay, cool. We're going to start treating you like an adult. And then if you don't like it, it's like, well, no, wait, this is what you wanted. It's not how you thought it was going to go, but it's what you wanted. Like, this is what's going to happen when you grow up.
I want to piggyback off of the original story that I was sharing, because there's one other element that's completely separate that kind of ties into my big one where like I want to be able to help, like have not just the confidence, because I'm at a point now where, a long time ago I wanted to learn as much as I can, do as much as I can to help people. And I've gotten to a point now where, I have more people coming to me than I'm going to other people, which I don't mean that in like an arrogant way by any means.
Come across arrogant.
It's like, once upon a time I used to be the one to, go and seek out people to help. And now it's like, I can't walk into a gym without someone at some point coming up to me and goes, hey, what are you doing? Like, what do you take? Like, whatever it is. If I go to like a store or whatever, it happens all the time where like, it kind of made me realize like, you know what, like the world's giving me opportunities to do what I really want to do. But when that journey started, there was one person in this entire world that I told myself, if I could change the life of this individual, like I can change anybody's life. And that individual is my mother. My mother is a very unhealthy, negative mindseted, thinks that she knows it all, and just the pinnacle of someone. I mean, and I love my mom to death. Like the pinnacle of someone that has no clue what they're doing is on the. I watched her for years, especially ever since like her husband passed away a little over a year ago. You know, her loneliness and like her mindset got worse. And it's like, if there's one person in this world that I want to be able to have, because I have all the tools and I've tried my hardest over the years to try to get her to eat better, to get her to start moving, all that stuff. And she's always fought me on it and acted like she knows and doesn't do it, blah, blah, blah. Like a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
Again, shortly after the first part that I talked about happened.
Yep.
This was earlier. This was last week. I get a random phone call. And again, I asked for the ability to really help people. I get a phone call from my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the blue, which doesn't always happen. I can only, maybe the amount of times on my hands, my mom has actually called me just for like out of the blue. And she actually asked me, she goes, when are you coming? Like, when are you coming here next? I'm like, why? She goes, I got to do something. Like, I feel terrible. Like, I feel like my health is deteriorating. Like, can you show me like what exactly I need to eat? Can you she even asked me to go with her to a gym and show her what to be doing because she's worried for her health. She doesn't want to feel the way she's feeling anymore. She's got to do something. And she thought of me to be the one to do it. Keep in mind, my mother is the person, like she will refuse to go out of the house if she's not completely fully done up, stuff like that, like very insecure. To have that phone call, like, I'm not going to say, like, I got like on the outside, but on the inside, I kind of felt a little emotional because I'm like, this was the one moment that I've waited for. Because if I can change her perspective and help her, I can do it to anybody.
Those are the most inspiring people.
Yes.
Because like if someone like the two of you go to a gym, like you guys are very muscular, way more than me.
Like than me, I'm just big at this point.
You guys go into a gym, you guys are slinging heavy weight and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of people in the gym that also look like you guys. But when you have someone who comes into a gym and they're overweight, they're out of shape, they're insecure because they don't look like they fit in, those are the people that are inspirational and brave because they're going out of their comfort zone to do something and make a change. Like that's, not everyone starts out looking, like you guys do. They start out looking like what I did, 3 years ago, and
you look great, by the way, Nate. Seriously, you do.
I'm down like 35 pounds over the last 2.5 years.
I was going to say that too when I walked in the garage earlier, but I didn't. But that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I found some of that.
Yeah, but
in a good way.
Marriage will do that.
Easy.
I do not know. Do not say that to me.
College did that to me. Freshman 15 for me, it was freshman 30. I went from 185 to 215 my freshman year. Yeah. But no, those are the people that, they woke up one morning because people go for years being content with the situation they're in and they just go through it and they just live with it day in, day out. But then all of a sudden they have a wake up call where I'm not happy being this way. Whether it be an emotional thing, a relationship thing, a physical thing, there's something that they're just not happy with. But when they make the choice to actually do something about it, that's where the inspiration comes in because they could just go along with the status quo doing whatever they've been doing because there's comfort there.
Yep.
And then deciding to make a change, that's where the discomfort comes in. But they're doing it thinking long-term, not short-term. They're like, I'm going to do this because of where I want to be. There's a journey. There's a process. It's not going to be easy. You don't just go into a gym one day at 300 pounds and a week later expect to be 225 and ripped and benching 300 pounds.
It's unhealthy.
Nope.
I mean, we wish we could all do that. But
Mike, what supplements should they take?
I like Sean's idea of doing
Whatever
a
it is, don't
health-based
take Ozempic.
episode.
What's that?
I said I like your idea that you came up with and having like us drinking bourbon and cigars and having a health talk.
We've done it. It's been like years.
Really?
Yeah.
I was on that show. It was
AJ and Angelo.
it was cigars, vitamins, and
Yeah.
or no, it was like cigars, whiskey, and vitamins.
Yeah.
With a question mark.
Sean,
But-
Sean's mic on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to share a story similar to what you guys are talking about. My wife's one of her best friends is she just broke up with her boyfriend and had kind of turned out pretty bad, but she's just like realizing like I got to focus on me now. And her and Teresa, my wife, went to the gym yesterday, and it's the first time she's gone in a long time. And she's been so afraid to go because she's afraid people are going to look at her and judge her. And she overcame that. And now I think she feels a little more confident, but to me, that takes more courage than most people would do. If they're that, when you're not in your right mind, and you're not feeling great about yourself, to go in there and put yourself out there and go in there and start making a difference and realizing, fuck everybody else. Who gives it? That's what, and I think, they go to Planet Fitness and there's judgment-free zone signs all over, which is good. She needs like a reminder, because when you go to the gym, most people, all they care about is what they're looking like and how they feel themselves, not about what somebody else they walk in the gym. If they are, then they're doing it for the wrong reason. So I let her know today I was proud of her for doing that, and being able to overcome that and know that by going to the gym and doing things physically, it's going to better your life, whether they're going to judge you or not.
Well, no matter what you do, people are going to, I love this quote where it's like, if you're out of shape, people are going to say you're a lazy, fat piece of shit. But when you get into shape, you must be on steroids. Like if you're unsuccessful, you're lazy and a bum, and if you're over successful, you're a greedy snake salesman. Like, no matter what you do, you're going to be judged. So why don't you just do you?
Well, and you did probably the best thing that anyone could do. You complimented that person on their effort.
Yes.
So like if you guys are in the gym and you see that lady in the gym, you see that person who's out of shape, but they're putting the work in and they're wanting to better themselves. The best thing anyone can do is to go up to that person and like say thank you.
Yeah.
Or say
you've inspired me.
You're an inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
I think it's awesome what you're doing, because that person's gonna question at first them doing that decision because they feel like they're being judged.
Yeah.
But if you sit there and you give them that compliment, like, holy shit, like what you're trying to accomplish is absolutely amazing, that's going to inspire that person to keep going.
There's a story on TikTok where a girl, she's crying in her car and she's overweight, but she goes in the gym every day, and she heard some girls kind of like passively judge her. But this other guy who's super ripped, that goes and walked up to her and said, screw them. He goes, you're kicking ass. Don't ever give up. She's bawling because it inspired her to keep going, not to quit. Same thing for me. I've been always struggled with weight, and I'm down about 25 pounds. And I've
You look great also.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you. And I've been doing.
Shirt looks great on you, by the way.
It's a pour one more, light of another.
Limited.
But like now my insurance won't let me take the Zepbound because that's what I was taking. But now I've noticed that I felt better not being on it, and now I'm like walking out on the treadmill every day, and like just watching movies and shit. And I always had this thought of I had to go in there and like do P90X3 or CrossFit and go balls to the wall, and that always made me not want to come back because I always burnt myself out. But now I'm doing something where my heart rate's up, I'm sweating, I'm getting something, I'm not killing myself in the process, and I feel better. And I think what it all boils down to when it comes to like weight and looking at stuff on the scale is judge how, like figure out how you feel more than what a number says on the scale. And I think that's where a lot of people, and my friend included, or Teresa's friend and my friend too, is that, fuck everybody else. How do you feel when you left the gym? How do you feel when you got home and woke up the next day and you had a little more energy? Like, to me, that's the best fucking high you can get, bar none, to any other antidepressants or whatever medicine you could ever get on. Because just by doing something as simple as that, and again, I always had that black and white thinking of, well, if I'm not doing P90X every day and eating perfectly, I might as well just forget it. And I've been fighting that for years. Now I'm at the point in my age, I'm like, I'm almost 55. And I'm like, who gives a shit? I want to feel better. And I'm finally getting over that hump. I'm actually going to see a counselor for it. And I'm just trying to stay focused on that because, yeah, I'm probably going to gain some weight back because of that shit I'm on. But I don't care because I feel better.
So could I comment just kind of
sorry.
like,
Okay.
no, this is, I love part two where I just sit here and listen. I love it.
This is good.
No, you guys are covering a lot of stuff. I'm going to kind of circle through all of this here.
Yeah.
You know, you and Sean and Teresa's friend, Mike, going way back to the beginning of the conversation where the initial story where, you know, he basically, this whole be careful what you wish for. It's, you are typically, in my opinion, I'm not a therapist or anything like that, but what I've found personally and people that I've known is getting over the first hurdle. And that's what Mike did when he opened himself up to this with, you know, he wants to help people. He wants to do it. He wants to be more patient. Mike, I don't know if you've ever had this feeling when before you're in the mindset you are now and you'd be in a conversation or a room and you would be offering unsolicited advice. And sometimes after the fact, and this is just a thought because it's anyone that interjects and gives opinions and all that stuff. And then after the fact, you kind of, you almost have, it's like when you drink too much and you have the anxiety after the fact. You had a conversation with someone, you start thinking like, should I have said all that stuff? Did I make an ass out of myself? Did I make them uncomfortable? Did I do this?
Yes.
So yes, I'm glad you said that because not everyone does that. There's sometimes this tone deafness of like, you do it and then all of a sudden like you walk into the same room over and over again. And every time you talk about something, whatever it might be, and you're kind of like giving opinion or facts that are unsolicited, and you become that person where it's like, oh, here comes, person explainer. It's 2025 person explainer.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, that's exactly what happened during the conversation.
So that's kind of what I'm saying is that the whole first step, like even the person you're talking about, the friend in the gym, we've kind of gone off on that because it's an easy one for us to talk about where you're worried about other people's judgment. And I think the core of that is because you are your harshest critic and you wake up, you're in a position where you're constantly, you're judging yourself first. And then all of a sudden, even if those women weren't talking and making side comments, you walk in, you're already self-conscious, and no one in that room, that gym, whatever it is, could be thinking about you at all. Any of that, but you judged yourself, you've set yourself up for this situation where your self-consciousness and your self-esteem is at a point where you could have people that are like, oh, this person's getting into cigars. That's awesome. You know, like, what are you smoking and why are you smoking it? There could be, or the bourbon, you know, we can take it all different avenues here where it's, oh my God, he's drinking so-and-so. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's drinking. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he's drinking Blands, you know, like, oh, he probably think, oh man, I heard this is really good. And like, people can react different ways. You know, you have assholes that would be like, you don't know what you're doing in the gym. Why are you here? Which is stupid. You know, obviously everyone's in there for a similar reason, which is to better their health. Doing something in a hobby, you might be getting into it and you were drinking something you thought was supposed to be really good, or smoking something that's really good. And you have kind of an asshole judgmental person that brings you down. Yeah. I remember my first bourbon, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Or you could have people like, oh, that's really, you like that? Like, okay, so if you like that, because I've liked that used to be really popular. It's not as popular anymore. It's hard to get for this reason. But if you like blends, here's a couple that you might want to seek out. You know, not too crazy expensive, but try these bourbons. With Mike opening himself up to like this whole prepping yourself and working on the core of it, like you did before you had the conversation with someone from 20 years ago, before she walks into a gym, you know, and super intimidated by doing it because of what other people might think. It's again, it's more, it's not a projection, but it's more of this whole, there's a little bit of projection, but it's almost this expectation based on how you're feeling. So with it's failure if you bail, or it's you need to kind of really there's a lot of that intake of everything, the surroundings and the situations, and it should evolve. Like I was saying, going back from the very beginning of this conversation with Mike saying that he wasn't prepared necessarily. Be careful what you wish for. He wasn't prepared for this situation to come up because there might have been a time based on whatever, like we don't know the details of that, but you might have refrained from commenting. You might have refrained from that because you're like, well, if I do this, they might think this, and they might think that I'm coming across with different intentions and all that stuff. But you've already defined what your personal expectations are for whatever is coming up. Like with you, Mike, it was like, I want to help people. I want to be patient. I want to listen. I want to be able to, if asked, I can have the opportunity to spread knowledge that I have without preaching it, but also be able to explain what I know. This is why I know it. This is how I know it. And it may or may not be completely suited to you, but what questions do you have? And I don't know if that's how the conversation went when you gave the book, where you're just like, this is everything. But you said the conversation then continued to grow and evolve for the time that you were having the conversation with this individual.
So
Well, and to kind of full circle as well. And with Sean's example of someone going into the gym, Nate, you were talking about that as well. It's, you go in there, and if you are going into that playground, whatever the conversation or the arena, like the gym is, and you're going in there expecting to be like, all right, who's going to bully me? They're going to think this of me. They're going to think that of me. You can have those thoughts, but I would encourage you to figure out what you want out of the situation for yourself, and then you can respond a little bit more appropriately. If someone is bullying you or talking down to you, or doesn't want to hear what you have to say, that's fine. That's you almost have to put everything in that perspective where I've given everything that I'm giving because of what I want out of life, what I want out of the situation. For you, Mike, it was, you want to be able to help people. You can't make people listen. You can't make people take your advice. You can't make them do what you like. Personal training is the same way. You can
bring the horse to the water, but you can't make them drink.
Work out. You can teach them how to eat healthy. You can teach them all that stuff. Sean, with that woman there, it's like, you can say to yourself, you're like, I want to get better. I want to get better. But if the first sense of like a hurdle or an obstacle or a negative reaction to that, and all you just retreat back, that's, be careful what you wish for is right there, is that you're like, I know going into it, it's not you're wishing for it, but you're like, be careful what you are expecting, because a lot of times I think if you're expecting something, especially negative, there will be a hurdle, and it may not even be a big one, but it's enough for you to, turtle back up and go back to your old ways.
Oh, I had a friend in high school, in youth group. So we were in high school, and he was going to get a job as a loader at UPS, and he was not in good shape. And he actually asked him, I was working at my uncle's gym. I was on the football team and stuff. I used to help train some of the new people in the weight room at school. And he asked me to write a workout program for him. And I'm like, okay, like I will, but you have to actually do it, because I can tell you from, my dad's experience, it's not an easy thing to do. And he never went to the gym, and he lasted 1 week as a loader. Meanwhile, I dated a girl in college who weighed 110 pounds, and her summer job every single year was a package loader at FedEx. Like, two completely different. I mean, this guy in high school, he was 200 pounds. He was 6 feet tall, little heavy, but had a good build to him. And yet, this person who's half his size is out there slinging packages that he couldn't. And then when he got a job at McDonald's, he lasted 2 weeks. And I asked him, I was like, dude, you wanted a job. You wanted to make money. Like, what the hell happened? They expected me to mop.
Yeah.
You're in high school. You're the lowest man on the totem pole. Yeah, you're going to fucking mop because you got to do the work. Like, what do you think they're going to hire a 17-year-old to be GM of the restaurant? Like, what the hell?
You're going to fail at that too.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Mike,
you got to get your head right.
On that note,
No, on your response, I saw you were loading up a little bit.
oh no, okay. It's
He cocked the arm.
by the way, take a sidestep, kind of Nate's point he made earlier. It's like, I love it how I can be very big on spewing things out, and you're such a good listener to where you have like this way of like creating like a synopsis. And it's like, it's so perfect. It's so perfect every time.
Well, I appreciate that.
But it's like going back to like the initial conversation, I had one intention in mind, was to help.
Yeah.
There's a part of me in the back of my mind that's like, there's a possibility, and there's a part of me that wants to open up and take the conversation a different way. But I was like, again, going back to the circumstances, it's like, nah, like it's not. But like once the conversation started to shift a little bit, like I wasn't prepared for it. And like there was a part of me that was like, I don't know if this conversation should go the direction that it's going, but I was like, you know what? I was like, screw it. And I was worried about that. I was kind of following along, and then I was kind of more so concerned. I'm like, this could very well backfire, but it didn't.
Good.
And like, it's kind of made me go like, you know what? Regardless, at the end of the day, like I got it off my chest, and it was on both ends, actually.
Yeah.
Not just mine. It was on both ends. And it's just like, even though like that's closed at this point, it's like, it felt good getting that calling. That's one calling. Remember what I said, like whatever callings that I have, I didn't even think of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But when then the situation came up, I was like, okay, I did not expect it to come in this way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a way to kill two birds with one stone in the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was like, it made me go, okay, I see what's going on. I see what's going on here. And again, it was able to test, like, I'll tell you guys offline.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys offline,
Well,
but yeah.
Go ahead, finish your.
No, but I also wanted to piggyback off of, Sean's story with the whole, the gym and stuff. And I just want to throw this out there, and then I'll get into it. But like anyone who's wants to go to the gym, I mean, you go to the gym all the time, so you probably know this. There's so many people that like when you fear something, more often than not, it's like you're not in fear of the unknown. You're in fear of what your mind thinks is going to be the outcome. And 9 times out of 10, especially in the gym world, it's people are a lot better than they think. Those guys and girls who are in like tip top shape, like the most fit people in the gym, they're usually the nicest and most supporting. And don't get me wrong, there's some oddballs that you find, like those jerks that are in the gym. But the truth is, nobody likes them either. Like nobody likes those people either. So their opinions don't even matter in the gym.
And on a
Like,
side note, they're also very self-conscious and body dysmorphia.
Yes.
That's all different forms. I mean, a lot of times that's a big thing about bodybuilding and certain other strength aspects is that there is a body dysmorphia that they are constantly struggling, even if they look like, you're like, oh man, I wish I had a 6-pack. I wish I was built like that. I wish all that stuff. And it's like, they're struggling with life too.
Yes.
I will say that.
100%.
I'll say this, and then we can roll in, because we got about a little over 15 minutes. What your story, and I don't know where you were going with it, but it does remind me of, I'll give this quick story and then we'll roll into closing remarks on this. Be careful what you wish for. I've shared a little bit of this, but it was when I met my now wife. I literally had gotten to a point where I was comfortable with myself. I kind of not given up on like meeting someone after my breakup. I've been about a year, and I was just like, you know what? I'm comfortable. I'm doing my own thing. I'm, taking care of myself. I'm in a good mental state and all that. And I literally just went to a bar to watch a Bears game. And I've told the story to a point on the podcast. That is how I, in a matter of just sitting down at a bar, waiting on some friends, I met my wife, my now wife, Kristen's friends. They sat next to me, and I was just open. I just talked to the friends casually, all this stuff. Bears fan, I had a Bears hat on, all this stuff. I have a friend that's, a Bears fan. They're coming, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't try to hit on any of them. I wasn't trying to, meet anyone. I was just kind of open to just life and talking to people and being social. And, it was a nice day.
Did the Bears win that day?
Probably not. No. No, they didn't. No.
You had to throw that in there.
It was Justin Fields rookie year. Anyways, again, we're tight on time here. We can't go off on that tangent. The Bears got a lot of potential this year yet again. But that was the conversations turned from, hey, we're going to get together, watch NFL football, to I found out that, Kristen was separated, and I was giving conversation. That's just the freezer. In fact, can you unplug that, Sean?
Yeah.
It's the black plug there. But I was giving advice on, like, basically give it everything you got with the marriage, make sure that you guys have gone down everything, and I was kind of giving life examples that I went through when I was divorced and breakup and my, all this stuff. And it was just having these conversations with no intent for it to go anywhere else. There was no secondary, like, oh, I'm going to talk this person into ending, even though they're already down that path. I was just like giving advice and having some good conversations, a lot of it through messaging at that point. And it got to the point where they started the paperwork, like it was done. And I still had my foot on the brake pedal, because it was just, I don't want to interject myself into a situation. I don't want to set myself up for failure again with a relationship. And I think with those honest intentions of trying to help someone and be a friend and be someone that, let me try to pass along some of my experience for someone going through a similar yet completely different situation. And, it was something that it's more a raw pureness of conversational skills. Like you had just said, Mike, about me. I've been listening the entire time to what you guys have been saying and trying to, figure out what are the common thoughts here, what are the common trains of emotion and feelings, and how that works with all this stuff. And it comes down to, like I said, with going to the gym, like Sean's friend, or you having that love and calling for helping people, it will present some raw, pure situations that you may not be prepared for, but because you're living your life a certain way and handling situations and conversations and interactions with other people, I think that you will be able to be prepared a little bit better for the opportunities you didn't see coming.
Agreed. Well said.
Nate?
So I recently, something came up where I was reminded, I had someone who was going through some job issues, some struggles. They just stepped into a new job, a lot of responsibility, but there's some expectations and struggles that person was dealing with. And like all I did was be there for that person. Like if they wanted to talk about what was going on, like help them out, and be in a position for them to be able to vent to. And they actually complimented, and they're like, "Thanks for allowing me to vent to you." And that's something that I've always been good at. Is if I have friends or people that I'm close to, like if they're going through something, being there to listen when they are going through that, like. Because sometimes they just want to be able to say what's going on, because they sit there and they just think about it all the time and it weighs on them. But being able to actually say it out loud helps that person. Like it all right, cool. Now I've said it, people know, and like their stress level and stuff about that situation goes down. I have the other problem because I'm so good at other people venting to, I have a hard time venting to others.
You'll talk to him about bourbon and cigars all day long and wine.
I'll talk to him about whatever. When I used to work at AEP, Jess would sit there and she'd watch me, and like I would never interject it as a topic, but people would start talking about stuff and they would ask what I do, and I start telling them what I do, and then they start asking questions, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm doing my door-to-door pitch that I used to long ago.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't working in that role anymore, it's like, well, no, like here's how it works. Here's all this is what's going on. And Jess would just look at me and she's like, you're you're just natural at talking about stuff. Like my thing is explaining stuff to people. That's what I thrive at. So whatever my job is, I have a passion. You know, I try
You're
to
all
do,
in, man.
I try and do something I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
If it's not my passion, it's my job, but be passionate about my job because, you know, people see that. And, you know, so when I talk to people and they see that passion and that excitement, it gets them excited a little bit as well. So it may not necessarily be the situation there 20 years ago, graduating college, I never thought that my career would be selling wine and liquor, but my natural gift is to teach and to explain and to talk to people as well as listen and answer questions. And I'm in a position where I get to do that on a daily basis. So it's not what I thought, but it's where I'm at, and I'm, you know, absolutely making the best of it.
I think it's finding that balance of like, you know, you listening when it's serious stuff, and also, and on the not as serious stuff, it's teaching, having, you know, talking about it, but also like incorporating those listening skills as well, which is not always easy when, you know, Nate, you know you know more about wine, whiskey, cigars, and what you do for a living now. Previously, like, you know, whatever your job was. Mike, you know a lot about, you know, the supplements and healthcare and everything else that you do. It is asking, like, what do you want? What do you like? What are your needs and stuff like that? Mike, go ahead. Closing remarks. You got about 5 minutes.
Ooh, 5 minutes.
Up to. You don't have to take the whole 5.
I won't take the whole 5.
4:45.
It's
I miss Jonathan Herring with the over-unders.
I know. I'm trying to keep a watch on the clock here.
again, it's the whole synopsis of the point of bringing this whole topic of is we all have things in our life that, you know, we want to change or think we want to change. There's things that, you know, we want to be able to do, and those opportunities will present themselves if that's what you really want. They will test you. And you look at, like, even like Nate's example, like, you didn't think you'd be where you are at now, but are you happier where you're at now?
Mm-hmm.
So what did the world do? The world showed you through experience over all those years, and you can't isolate it to a certain moment per se, but it led you on that journey to where you needed to be in your life to be the person, like, deeper inside, that you knew who you are. And you may have thought that your life would have looked like X, Y, and Z, but the real you came out over time and led you to where you're at now.
Because I didn't close myself off to those opportunities.
And if I'm not mistaken, there was a point, you know, some of your previous jobs, you're like, I can't do this anymore, right? Kind of get like to the point where, like, when people like my mother, for example, that's an example that I would use as, like, what I originally used as like a burden, but it's like a calling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like something inside of you, know, it's there. It's in the back, it's in your ear, whispering to you every single day, until you get to a point where it becomes so strong. You're like, I have to change now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by like a calling.
Yeah.
You know, not a passion, you know, because people
not
have passions.
A burden, a calling.
As a calling, you have a calling to do something. And until you do, it never goes away. That's like listening to that's your intuition telling you, this is who you are. You need to lean in and stop worrying about whatever is going to happen as a result, because everything in life has a price. It's just a matter of, are you willing to pay the price to be happy? And if you don't, eventually the world is going to push you. That whisper is going to push you to the point where you can't take it anymore, and it has to come out.
And I'll piggyback on that, because that's what was in my mind also, is that be careful what you wish for, because at a very core, like you said about happiness, if you are wishing for happiness, be careful about that, because if you are to get to a point where you are truly happy, and that's ebb and flow, right? Mm-hmm. You're not always happy. You know, it's not always easy. Even in the best circumstances of your life, there's still the hardships and there's still the obstacles. But if you are wishing to be happy, especially if you're not in that situation, if you're the friend that, you know, walks into a gym and they're not prepared for it and they're judging themselves, being happy now and in the future involves sacrifices that you may not be prepared to make. And those are those moments that are what are you willing to put up with versus can you make the situations that you're in, jobs, relationships, personal health journey, whatever it might be, are you willing to make the sacrifices to make a true change and bring some along with you? Or do you have to at some point say, no, I'm not going to continue down this path on this particular point because there is no true happiness in the time that you have on this earth to get to that point. And that's not necessarily just cutting ties at the first sign of weakness or an obstacle. That is literally like, I want this in my life and I deserve it. And I want to do what it takes. And that means cutting out junk food. That means getting off your ass and getting to the gym or walking. That means removing people from your life that are not healthy for you. It's the unhealthy decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis that I think that the sacrifices, be careful what you wish for. That's not easy, because if happiness is what you're seeking, that means sometimes you make some hard decisions on things that you must cut out. People, jobs, day-to-day actions that you will miss. And sometimes those are the greatest things that when you look back, you're like, I'm glad I did it. I wish I would have done it sooner.
It's like,
Go ahead, and then we got to cut it.
you know, are you willing to endure the short-term pain for long-term happiness?
That's good. I like that. Gentlemen, cheers. Happy Whiskey Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen out there, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Nate, Mike, thank you for the goodies tonight. Guys, tune in. A couple weeks, we'll be back on. Join the Bourbon and BS community page on Facebook and continue the conversation out there. Great community. Almost 2,000 people out there. So thank you very much. Cheers. Have a great, great night.